They say when somebody loves you the wrong way, you can feel it long after they're gone. Not in your heart, but in your sleep. It starts off innocent enough, a dream here, a flashback there. You see their face again, the way they used to smile, the cologne or perfume they used to wear that you swore you forgotten all about. And you tell yourself it's just your mind sorting old memories, but then they start showing up too clearly and a little too frequently, saying things they shouldn't know, reacting to things that happened that day. And that's when you realize it's not just a dream anymore. Our elders used to talk about this, how energy never really dies. It just looks for a new place to land. And that's why they warned you not to sleep with mirrors facing the bed, not to keep old gifts from someone you cut ties with, and never to say a person's name right before you close your eyes. Because the moment you drift off to sleep, your spirit opens doors your body can't see. And sometimes the people you left behind in real life are standing on the other side waiting to sneak in. Hey y'all, I'm BlaqueWitchYaya. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. And today we're going to talk about a story where this man was peeping into his ex's dreams. How does that work? What was the purpose of it? What was he doing in the dream? So let's start from the beginning. They met the way a lot of bad stories begin, on accident at the wrong time, but feels right. And in Atlanta. This is another Atlanta story. His name was Caleb. He wasn't evil, not even close. Just one of those men who loved the way women believed in him, and he loved the way that women loved him. So Caleb and Imani met at a friend's birthday party. She was the quiet type that didn't have much to say. She had a very soft presence that made people feel safe, very non-threatening. And Caleb liked that about her. He was more of the talker, the golden retriever of the relationship, always running his mouth about ambition, money, and manifesting greatness. Even though when you take a step back and you look at his life, it seemed more of procrastination and excuses. But if you ask him, he was about hard work and grinding. At first, things were good. He cooked, he prayed, he listened, or at least it felt like he did. But over time, she started noticing that Caleb only showed up for her when she was doing well, when she was in her prime. She was feeling good, looking good. But when she felt low, when she needed pouring into, he would just randomly disappear. It's like he wanted her light, but not her shadow. So they dated for almost 2 years before she ended it. It wasn't a big fight. It was one of those breakups where it was like, okay, so who's going to say it first? Even though it was an easy breakup, Caleb didn't take it that well. He cried his eyes out that day. Not out of heartbreak though. It seems like he was crying due to loss of control. He told her, "You won't be able to replace me. You're going to compare every other man to me." And of course she was like, okay, and like this story and many stories like this, it'll make you think about how deep spiritual connections can really go even after something ends. Sometimes you just need someone to help you make sense of it all. And that's why I love today's sponsor, Psychic Source. And y'all, I recently had a reading with an advisor. His name is Vincent, and he has made the #1 spot on the BlaqueWitchYaya approved list. He was so specific. Like from the moment we started the call, I wrote my questions down and he picked up the phone like, okay, so what's his name? And I'm like, how do you know? How do you know I called for that? And that set the tone for the rest of the session. There's no fluff, very real, direct, straight to the point. He even called me out on my control issues. And if you're not ready for the cut and dry truth, someone to really just call out everything, maybe hold off on him for a minute, because he does not sugarcoat. He gets straight to the point. He doesn't try to lighten the message up. He tells it exactly how spirit is saying it. But that's what I like, because I'm very direct too. So when he started breaking things down, I was like, I like this. Psychic Source is a safe, judgment-free space where you can ask anything, whether that's about love, dreams, energy ties, or just finding peace after a situation like this. And not just anyone can be an advisor. On Psychic Source, they only accept about 2% of applicants, and every single reader is tested and verified before they even take their first client. And you can connect however it feels most comfortable for you, over the phone, through video, or even just by text. They back every reading with 100% satisfaction satisfaction guarantee, which says a lot about how much they stand behind their service. I have been feeling so much more comfortable with asking for clarity since using Psychic Source because I know I have access to a large variety of skilled advisors who can guide me through those cloudy moments in life. And what I love is that I can end my session with all of my questions answered. I didn't go broke in the process, and you can have the same experience too because I have a special offer for my viewers, so you won't break the bank as well. You can book a session or even several sessions for up to 40 minutes just for $19.80, less than $20, when that's a $240 value, and you don't have to use all of your minutes in one go. So you can try out different advisors, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes here, 2 minutes here, so you can find the one you connect with best. Plus, 1% of every purchase goes to a charity of your choice at no extra cost to you. So if something in this story hits a little too close to home, go to trypsychicsource.com/yaya and use my code YAYA10, or click the link in the description box to connect with an advisor who's online right now. And thank you to Psychic Source for sponsoring today's video. A few months later after the breakup, Imani started dreaming about Caleb. At first, it made sense, like, okay, you spend years with someone, you're in love, your body's going through withdrawals, but it was the details that felt a little wrong. The dreams weren't like normal memories. They were too sharp, too clear, and she would wake up and remember everything that happened. He'd show up wearing the same cologne he always wore, but in the dream, he'd be in her kitchen or sitting on the edge of her bed, talking about their old life like nothing had changed. The first time, she woke up smiling and then immediately felt stupid, like, why am I smiling at this man? The second time, she woke up and she felt tired, like she hadn't slept at all, like she was actively living out the dream and she just woke up wore out. And after the third night, she woke up smelling his cologne all over the room. So a little background on Imani: she wasn't new to spiritual things. Her grandmother was from Louisiana, baby. She believed in root work and protection, like it was just a part of her life. She didn't even notice she was doing it. So her grandma used to always say, don't let nobody have a piece of you they didn't earn. Not your hair, not your photo, not even your scent. And at the time, Imani thought it was just some old superstition, a little folklore, a little warning. But now she wasn't so sure because something about these dreams felt like somebody was visiting, not just randomly appearing. You know how sometimes you have dreams, then you're just walking down the street, you turn the corner, and it's the girl that you knew from second grade. Y'all never were friends, but magically she's just in that dream for some reason. No, it looked like he was signing in at the front desk and was walking into her dream. One time, he appeared in the middle of a conversation she was having with a friend, and he talked to her like she knew what she did that day. Like, oh, you got the French tips today. And she would have just got her nails done that morning. It was one time he asked her in a dream, so why'd you keep your room light on at night? You hate sleeping with bright lights. And when she woke up, she seen that she fell asleep with the lamp on her nightstand on. So she's like, how in the world, like, how did he know that? And why is he still here? So we're gonna pause on Imani. Let's go over to Caleb. Caleb was doing his own kind of healing on his end, or at least that's what he had people think. So after she left him, he fell down a rabbit hole of spirituality videos online. I feel like this has appeared in so many stories, like manifestation, energy work, candle magic, twin flame, reuniting rituals. So he started following this one woman on TikTok who claimed she could teach people how to visit their soulmate. Imani's not his soulmate, but she said she can help people visit their soulmate in the astral realm. She said all you need was a photo and intention. And of course, Caleb is desperate and worried right now, so he believed her. He took one of Imani's old photos and started doing those late night visualization meditations. So every night he stare at the picture, say her name over and over until his breathing slowed down and his mind felt foggy. He didn't know what he was really doing the first few times, but eventually he got the hang of it. He thought of it as manifestation, like, okay, let me just keep visualizing. But what he was doing was binding, opening doors in his own sleep that led to hers. Meanwhile, let's go back to Imani. She didn't know all that was going on, but her spirit did. Her energy started reacting. She'd wake up sweating, heart racing, sometimes crying without even knowing why. Every dream left her weaker, foggier, and in some random emotional state, like he was taking something from her each time. Her rest, her peace, her clarity. And one morning she woke up and couldn't remember the day of the week, just blank, confused, had to take a minute to figure everything out. And when she finally told her aunt about it, the aunt was over it. She said, "Oh baby, he's feeding off your sleep. That's why you tired. You gotta close that door." Imani's like, "What door? I mean, I sleep with my room door closed. Like, he's not actually coming in my house. He's coming in my dreams. What is this door?" So that night, she decided to try something simple. She cleaned up her room, mopped the floor with Florida water, and prayed Psalms 91 under her breath. She placed a glass of water on her nightstand. Her grandmother used to always tell her that water catches energy that doesn't belong, and that's true. So if you're having crazy dreams or nightmares, put a glass of water by your bed. Then Imani rubbed a little oil on her forehead and said, "Whatever has been watching me, you're not welcome here." The dream came like always, but this time when Caleb appeared, the room looked different. The air in the dream was thick. Her reflection in the dream looked aware, like she now had some say-so in the dream. He said, "You missed me?" And she said, "You're not even supposed to be here. You think I forgot about all that little witchy stuff you used to tell me, your little meditation and crystals? I know how to do this too." Then, as she was observing Caleb, she saw a thin red thread tied around his wrist, and in hoodoo, that's a trick some people use to hold a spiritual connection, like a leash between two energies. Except this one looked a little frail, burnt out at one end, like it wasn't supposed to last. So when he reached for her, his hands trembled, almost like he had too much caffeine or glitching in place. And she said, "Caleb, you can't stay." And he said, "I made sure I could." And that's when she remembered something her grandmother said again: if somebody's pulling on your spirit, you pull back in your prayer. If they're calling your name, call your own name louder. So Imani began repeating her full name 3 times out loud in a dream, because now she's aware of what she's doing in the dream, so she has control to change the atmosphere. And once she said her name for the last time, the walls in the dream started shaking. Caleb's face flickered like bad signal. He started yelling like, "You don't understand what I had to do to reach you." And she said, "You didn't reach me, you broke in." So they're having a full-blown argument in the dream. And when she woke up, she was gasping. The water beside her bed was cracked straight down the middle. There was no spill, no leak. It wasn't even a complete split, just a single crack. And her room smelled like burning incense, and the smell was specific to the incense that Caleb used to use when he meditated. And from that night on, the dreams stopped. So a few days after that final dream, Caleb texted her saying, "Hey, just wanted you to know I've been dreaming about you lately. I can't get you out my mind. I just miss you so much." And she didn't reply. Good job, because he was trying to get you back in the physical because he no longer had access to you in the spiritual. Until this day, every night before bed, she still keeps a small glass of water by her headboard, not out of fear, but just out of respect, and made it into a ritual. Some people think when a relationship ends, the feelings just fade with time, but anyone who's ever loved someone very deep knows that that's not how energy works. Sometimes it's not that easy. When two people share thoughts, touches, prayers, and promises, that's a kind of binding all by itself. Love seems to leave fingerprints, and if you're not careful about clearing those prints, someone can use them to find their way back to you, to find their way back in. And what happened between Imani and Caleb wasn't just heartbreak. It was what happens when emotion meets obsession, and when a man starts mistaking access for connection, and a woman learns that even dreams need boundaries. Because some people just don't linger around in life, they linger around in your sleep when your spirit is most vulnerable. It's easy to forget that spiritual doors open both ways. When somebody loves you, you build connections that are real, but it's just not emotional, not physical, but it's energetic. That's why you see some couples get to the point where they can almost sense when something is wrong with the other. And that's why our elders warn us again, don't keep things from old lovers, don't sleep on dirty sheets, and again, don't say someone's name right before bed if you don't want them showing up. Don't invite that spirit in, because sleep isn't silent, it's an open door. But thank y'all so much for tuning into this video. Let's have a discussion down below on any weird dreams you were having. Was there someone that was astral projecting into your dreams? Did you do it for somebody else to see what was going on? Let's have a dream talk down below. But thank you guys so much for tuning into this video, and like I always say, as above so below, as within so without, as the universe so the soul. Until next time, you guys, Ashe, baby.
I got more.